What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and what an honor to have Shareza Jackson here with me today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You know, on Netflix right now, there's a series called Love, Con, Revenge, and your story is featured on that series.
Yes, it is.
And so I'm glad that you're joining us today to talk about what happened to you, because this is a situation where you were conned out of almost $2 million, right? And nothing has happened to this man that, and do we have to say allegedly, or can we, how does that work? I just want to make sure I'm doing the right lingo.
We could still say allegedly.
Okay.
I mean, we could say allegedly, but the thing is,
you know what happened.
The truth is the truth.
I'll say allegedly. You can say this is what happened to me.
Right.
All right. So allegedly conned you, and you are a very intelligent woman, Fortune 500 company, best-selling author. Doing the right thing, helping your man out, so you thought at the time. So just talk to me about who Shareza Jackson is, even before this man, Dorian, came into your life again.
Shareza Jackson, Shareza J, has always been just a kind-hearted person, right? I grew up in an urban city, in the city, had my daughters young, took care of my girls by myself, went to college, finished school, did everything that I needed to do. I was a teen mom. Started working for a Fortune 500 company, traveled, wrote books, public speaking, just doing my thing.
Right.
Just minding my business, taking care of my girls. It's always been me and my girls, right? And very successful. I owned my own home, had everything going for myself.
Okay.
And I guess I was targeted.
All right. So the way that this happened, the man that you connected with, you actually went to high school with him.
Right. Well, he was a senior when I was a freshman.
But did you guys know each other?
We knew each other, but we didn't know each other. Just around.
But there's still some type of familiarity when you're like, okay, we went to the same high school, we know each other. So how did he approach you on Facebook? Because you say you feel like you were targeted.
Well, I mean, he approached me as any other person would. He reached out. He was just like, hey, I like to have lunch with you when I come down there. He's told me he was living in Florida. I mean, he was living in Georgia at the time. And he finished his message with, when you have a minute, put me in it. And then he put Dr. Wilkerson.
Okay, he's a doctor.
I was like, okay. All right,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll let you know. But then, years passed by. He had reached out to me since 2009. We really didn't connect until 2014.
Okay. So he came out to see you, or he was saying he was in town, or how did...
I actually went up there for a business trip.
Okay.
And I told him, hey, I'd be in town. We can do lunch. And we... It's so funny now because honestly, I'm so over it, Angela. It's like, it's sad when you think about it. But he picked me up in this very nice Bentley from my hotel.
Okay.
Found out later it wasn't his. But he picked me up in this nice Bentley, really, lavish. Took me to his loft to change. Came to pick me up in hospital scrubs, by the way.
Oh, because he's a doctor.
He's a doctor. Yeah. He's a medical doctor. He's an MD. He works for Emory Hospital. So he picked me up in his scrubs, said he had to go to the house to change. Took me to this 30th floor condo that I found out wasn't in his name. Changed, and we went out. Took me out for a night on the town. We had fun. And that was that. I went back home.
You're thinking he's matching my success. Like, I'm a successful homeowner, mother, business person. And now here comes this man. He's a doctor. He's helping
Seems like
people.
He has his stuff together.
Has his stuff together.
Has a heart of gold, it seemed like. But when I go back and look at my social media, and this is something we have to be careful with certain things that we, put out there, because people are watching and they will use certain things against you. But on my social media, I'm out there feeding the homeless. I'm out there, and you want to show that you're helping and you're giving back.
It also inspires other people who want to do the same thing.
But then you have these people that are targeting you, and it's kind of like everything that I was, he mirrored.
Okay.
So it was just like, oh my God.
But that's a shame, Shareza, because I don't want you to feel like you can't still be who you are because you don't know who, you know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes we blame ourselves because you're like, man, even right now, you're like, well, I got to watch what I put on social media. Yeah. No, like this guy was maniacal in doing the things that he did. It's not anything that you did wrong. You're living your life really being who you are. It's not your fault that other people don't do the same thing.
Right. And that's true. I appreciate that. I appreciate that because, you know, I'm the person that always says, like, why as Black women, we got to be humble.
Right.
Why we always got to be humble? Why can't we show who we are in real life? And that's who we are. You know, we always are dumbing ourselves down.
Downplaying our accomplishments, downplaying the things that we're doing in the community.
Exactly.
Because we don't want to seem like, you know, we
bragging. Think we all
yeah.
that. You know, I mean, it's crazy. Like, and you basically just kind of took me back full circle to me practicing what I preach, right? Because, I mean, it's the truth. We do dumb down ourselves and we don't want to show certain things because we act like we don't want to, you know, show off.
Right.
But it's like, no,
but if it's reality, it's reality.
This is what we're doing.
And you worked hard to get to that.
Right.
You know, imagine being a teen mom. Some people feel like that's such a handicap. And the truth is that's a superpower in the way that you've been able to handle yourself. Because you think about like a lot of stuff that you do, you're doing to make sure that you're providing a great example and a better life for your children.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So now let's get to when things got more serious. Between the two of you.
Between the two of us. Okay, so he decided that for whatever reason he wanted to be exclusive. He wanted to move to Florida. He just wanted to be, you know, with me. I had all the characteristics of the women he was dating. Now, here's another thing about narcissism and narcissists. They play on your intelligence and they really listen to everything that you say and do. They listen. They're very intelligent. And I even told the police department when I was trying to report him, I said, listen, this man is dangerously clever. I mean, dangerously clever. So he basically said that he was dating several women. He told me that, but he was just dating several women. So now you're looking at this person like, you're honest. Wow.
Right.
You're
he
honest.
told the truth.
I'm dating several women. I date one for this reason, one for that reason, one for this reason. But I found someone that carries all the characteristics that these people have. And I want to be exclusive. I want to be with you. I want to move to Florida. And I'm thinking, okay, you're in Atlanta. You're a successful doctor. You're in Emory. Now, I can work from anywhere, you know, my company. I can be remote. So I'm thinking I'm going to be moving to Georgia if we're, you know, going to get married and be serious. No, he said he wanted to move to Florida. But I later found out that he was running from Georgia.
Oh, he had to leave.
So he had to leave. He was pushed out of Georgia.
So were you posting him on social media?
No.
And, see, that's the thing, because if you would have, right, or if he would have posted you, then there could have been somebody that alerted you, like, sis, watch out.
Yeah.
Because X, Y, and Z happened. All right, so he moves.
He moves to Florida. I didn't post him until we got engaged, after we got engaged, and we had already set the wedding date and everything.
Your daughters loved him, though he was amazing, and he was doing all the right things. And so he opened up a business when he got there, because he was a quote-unquote doctor, even though there's no record.
He's an epidemiologist that worked for the CDC. That traveled with the CDC. I mean, this dude has like recordings and videos of himself saying he went to Morehouse School of Medicine. Like, you're literally saying this stuff on social media. I pulled him up and he came up on LinkedIn and Google and different things, but he had made himself look so good, his reputation.
Let me tell you something. When I watched some of these, I was watching one of these documentaries. It was like a crypto scam that someone was doing. And they basically they made up a random profile on LinkedIn. The person that went to Princeton, you know, they just will make up. Because you could put anything on LinkedIn. Who is vetting that out?
Right.
And so somebody will go to search you and they see your LinkedIn and they think it's real. Like, oh, this person went to Harvard. This person went to Princeton. These are the accolades that they have. Right. If somebody's not checking and verifying that, it's so easy to make it seem like.
And then you're thinking, this person would not be all on social media saying these things about himself if it's not true, because you're not thinking like
you're not thinking somebody's about to con me,
right? You're
and
not
somebody that went to your high school,
right?
All right, so now fast forward, he wants to start a business, and he convinces you to invest in his business,
right?
All right, so tell me how that happened.
So he basically, you know, we're getting married now. We're an item. We're going to be one, right? So, you know, he wanted to acquire this business, this cosmetic surgery center. He wanted to acquire the business, needed a lot of money to invest it, emptied out my 401k, did all of that, sold my home, put some of that towards that.
See, no,
everything.
Right. All right, couple things here. I want to ask you this because this is so disgusting to me that he would do something like this. When he came to he moved in with you.
Moved into my home.
Moved into your home. Was he investing money also into this business?
Yeah. So he had some money.
Some funds, okay.
I found out later that the funds that he had, because it seemed like, okay, he's doing pretty good. He said he worked for the CDC. They pay him every 45 days. Like, this is the story. As I go back and I talk to other women and other victims, it's the same story. Like, we're literally laughing, sharing the same story that he's saying. But he had actually conned another woman prior to me where he got all this money from that person. So and now he has this money to kind of spend on me, to buy engagement rings and do different things because you took this money from this person.
All right, so now you empty out your 401k. And I want to say for anybody listening, any man that would convince you to do those things and take those risks, like, that is a red flag. Y'all got to figure out another way. Like, we taking out a line of credit or there's other ways. And so, because I do feel like also for people listening, like, let this be like, this should raise some suspicion because you went through it. So now you know in hindsight, right, what it is.
And you know what, Angela, what I want to say is because, you'll have people, you got the people out there, oh, that'll never happen to me.
Until it happens.
Until it happens. Yeah. Because your girl feel like she real smart. You know what I mean?
I want to say, because I worked on a whole documentary with Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives, where she got kind of, and I just remember people on social media when I interviewed her, and it was during the pandemic, calling her dumb, saying this. And the shame that you put on somebody who is the person that is actually a victim of someone who is a terrible human being, right? That, like, it's so backwards to me that we're attacking the person who actually had the good heart, who thought they found somebody who was in love, instead of the person who is the con artist. Right. Like, why is it? And that's what makes people
sometimes... The villain becomes the hero.
That's what makes people sometimes nervous to come forward to want to tell their stories because you feel dumb.
Right. And the thing is, with me, it was the opposite. It was the opposite because I build my brand off of transparency. I talk about me being a teen mom. I talk about me having $5 to my name, putting it in an offering plate, and then got an $8,000 return on investment just for having faith. So I talk about my downfalls. I talk about losing. I talk about, my daughter's father being murdered when I was 5 months pregnant. I talk about so much. So now it's like, oh, you're going to F around and find out. Yeah. Because what he said to me, knowing that I'm an author, knowing that I go around and do public speaking and do different things and that I have mentees, that people that really look up to me, women, what he said to me is that you're not going to file for a divorce. You're too worried about your reputation.
Your image. He thought that was going to be...
That's what he said.
That he thought your image and concern about that was going to protect him. Right. Was it ever a thought to you?
I was ashamed, Angela. I'm not gonna lie. I was ashamed. I was hurt. I was mad at myself for a little bit because I'm like, how could you go back thinking what you could have done. But at the end of the day, what I had to come to grips with is that you did nothing wrong. Yeah. You cared about the wrong person. You trusted the wrong person. I was literally sleeping with the enemy. I was literally sleeping next to this man every night.
In love.
And giving myself to this person. So it's embarrassing to have to come out and say, this is what happened to me, or this is the reason for the divorce, or this man isn't even who he said he was.
So tell me what it was like for you now. When did you find out? And what was that like when you got, like, I don't know if it was like that first message you got where somebody tried to alert you, but tell me when you started realizing and when things started unraveling.
So I can say that people did reach out to me, prior, like during the marriage. And I'm not going to say people because they would come on fake pages, but he was so good at like right now, you're portraying yourself as a pastor. Right. So, but
right now, by the way, one more time.
As we speak, right now, as we speak, he is pastor, Dr. Dorian Wilkerson.
It's crazy. Okay.
So you gain the trust of people, and he had, when I tell you the gift to gab, like if you only use that for good as opposed to evil, you would have been so successful in life. But he knows how to, if I'm like, well, this person said this, like, oh, let me respond, or I'll respond to them. Or this person is saying this, but he's like, remember, I told you. And he did. He said, listen, a lot of women are going to be upset that we're getting married.
Right, because he was dating several women.
Right.
Well,
so he set it up.
Yeah.
Like, dude was
Okay.
good. People going to be upset. They probably going to come after you. They're going to say things that are not true. He made that very clear. So now I'm like, okay. So when it did come, it's kind of like, okay, this is what it is.
Happen, yeah.
And then, you're reaching out to me from fake pages. One person actually said, who they were, but it was more so, oh, he's no good. He's not this person. He's not that person.
These are scorned women.
Right.
In other words, it made it
like.
feel like, these women are just going to be upset. They're jealous. Yeah. You have what they want.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So he was just so good. I mean, he's very good. I mean,
did he change his name or did he?
No, same name.
Okay.
Like, he really feels like he's untouchable until me.
Somebody laid him hands. Right.
So I basically was like, you know what? I can ball up in field position, or I can fight like the warrior that I am.
But when did you realize? Like, what did it take for you to finally be like,
I'm done?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say it was like an article, because a tragedy happened at the center back in like 2021. And later they started, asking questions and investigating, and it was an article. And I reached out to the editor the person that wrote the article, asking to meet with them and asking, like, what are you hearing? What did you find? Because I read this article that says this person never even had a medical license in Georgia, as he told me. This person is not who he said he is. So I was like, well, I just did a search in Georgia, and kind of telling me things. So long story short, when I had the opportunity, I wrote a book. I wrote the book. The book became like, very, like a great seller. Successful women get played to. Yep. Mastering the art of owning your ish, keeping your ish. Can I curse on you?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay.
You deserve it.
Successful women get played to, mastering the art of owning your shit, keeping your shit, and keeping it moving. So it was basically about my story. I talked about what it happened to me. And when I wrote the book, it was more so therapy for me, because a lot of things that had happened after I wrote the book, it's not in the book. Right, because
it happened after.
So it happened after. But this, when I wrote the book, it kind of alerted certain people. And with the Netflix docuseries, I met Cecilia. I met the PI.
Cecilia from the Tinder Swindler.
Right, from the Tinder Swindler. And the PI, because, they're looking at my story. It became global. Daily Mail did an article on it.
I saw the Daily Mail article.
So they saw it, and I'm just like, I don't know who this person is, and I just need clarification. So that's when Brienne came in, the PI. Awesome, Brienne, Cecilia. I mean, when I tell you they're awesome, but really have the passion to get justice for people of romance fraud. So they went and did their investigating, and they brought so much back to me.
What did the police do because I have to assume you went and wanted to file a report and figure out what was that process and what happened?
So, and this is another thing that I definitely want to touch on, is the injustice and the systemic gender bias that we have, especially where I was in South Florida. I went to the police department. I'm telling them this man is dangerously clever. This is prior to him going and filing his false police report against me, which, by the way, all the charges just got dropped in June of this year.
Sheesh.
Yes.
It took that long.
Yes.
I got a whole series coming out. You put a book out, had articles, but it just got dropped.
Got dropped. So I go to them and I say, listen, laying everything out. This is what I found out about this person. He's not this person. He's literally, you're touching these women. You're doing consultations and touching women's body, and you're not even who you say you are.
You're not even licensed to do this.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm telling them, they literally brushed me off, and I said, I don't know what he's capable of. This man is dangerously clever. He goes to the police department. He tells them, oh, she put a check in our joint account, and she spent all the money. And that's a long story short. It was a check that came in his name. He told me to sign it, put it in the joint account. He used the money. I used the money. I paid bills. He splurged.
Right.
Whatever. But he said he never knew nothing about the account. He lied to them on several occasions. When you read the actual police report, it's lies within the police report, like straight lies that had they properly investigated and had they really looked, because he said he was served divorce papers in March. Now, if he was served in March in the state of Florida, now that means his money is his money, my money is my money. Right. So we can't touch it. It's separate. But so he told them that. You could have pulled up clerk of courts. I'm telling you, I didn't file for divorce until April.
Right.
So, but he has this sworn statement, so many lies. At the end of the day, the state attorney's office wrote up their memorandum and basically said they found him not credible. But it took this happened. I had to turn myself in because they end up putting a warrant out for my arrest.
Oh my gosh.
Putting a warrant out for my arrest. I had to turn myself in. And you know what I did, Angela? I put my own mugshot out there. I told my daughters, when the mugshot comes out, I said, because nobody is going to create my narrative.
That's right. That you have to take that power back.
I took the power.
Because he's thinking that you're going to be ashamed, embarrassed, and instead you get a step ahead and be like, here's what's happening, and everybody's following the story, and now there's a Netflix series.
Right.
And I wonder if the police department also knows that that's happening, and they're like, we better make sure we clear up. You know.
I don't know, but I think I need to come for him.
Yeah.
I mean, because
no, you do. So he's just now a pastor living his best life, and you lost. Now, at first I saw it was 1.4 million. But so how much money would you estimate?
So what can be accounted for is about 1.4. When I go through all of my, expenses and looking at everything, and then ending up having to file bankruptcy, because how in the hell am I going to recover from that? And that's another thing. The whole bankruptcy laws against Black women. There's a whole study with MIT that talks about how the disparities come to women of color that try to file bankruptcy and get their life back and rebuild. I'm a victim of romance fraud. It's documented. So to give me a hard time is very disheartening because I'm still going through that process.
Right. On top of everything else.
On top of everything else. So
they had to shut down the medical center.
Oh, yeah. It was
and so all that money that you cashed out, invested in, gone.
Gone.
Right.
Everything gone. Lawsuits on top of lawsuits on top of lawsuits.
And you're named in those lawsuits, too. Wow.
Yeah. Lawsuits on top of lawsuits. Those came. And it's kind of like, how am I going to rebuild from this? Like, I have to move on. So, unfortunately, when and this is a very important part of this because this should have been a red flag immediately. When we went through the divorce, there was a marital house. And I end up saying, you know what? God has so much more for me. I don't want to fight. I was trying to be quiet. I tried to have a very quiet divorce and just be done. But of course, when greed kicks in. I said, listen, just take half of the money from the house and you can go. Like, I just want to be done. I told my attorney that. I told his attorney. Well, his attorney communicated with my attorney. And that was the deal. He had to sign a non-prosecution affidavit if he wanted the money. And of course, con artists, they want the money.
Right.
So he had to sign the non-prosecution affidavit to drop these bogus charges. And he get the money. I dropped my civil lawsuit because I literally, Angela, this was in 2024, last year, May. I said, I just want to move on with my life.
I don't want to deal with this.
I just want to be done. I'm in my soft girl era. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I just want to be done, right? So I did what I was supposed to do. They disbursed the money to him. He went back to the state and told them after he got the money that he didn't want to drop the charges. He wanted to pursue the charges.
But he signed.
And he signed it. The case should have been over then.
Yeah, you already signed the paperwork and got your money.
It took over a year for them to drop those charges to see that he was a liar.
This is wild.
It's crazy. And the thing is, like, literally,
and it's stressful.
He will go into court and this man can lie.
Where's his family in all of this?
So the household that he grew up with, they are all deceased. So his brother passed away, his stepdad and his mom, they're all deceased. But his extended family, they thought he was a medical doctor as well.
Oh, they believed
his
him.
Extended family
he lied
who
to
lived
his damn family.
Yeah. His extended family, and one, said to me, I just thought he stopped practicing because his mom got sick. I always thought he was a doctor. She said
that is really wild.
Yeah.
That he deceived so many people like that. But the fact that he had his whole family there, they weren't in on it. They just believed him.
Right.
Just like you believed him.
Right. They weren't in on it.
Yeah.
They weren't in on it. They believed him. And they will still, I guess, support him, whatever he's going through. I don't know. I really don't care. Is
there a chance for him to still get arrested? Or because now you're telling your story, right? And sometimes when that happens, it does reopen cases.
I hope so, because I'm not the only one that filed, complaints against him. He actually committed bankruptcy fraud. Like right now, in 2015, he said that he was married to someone that he wasn't and filed bankruptcy before we actually became married. We got married in 2016. So he had filed bankruptcy and said he was married to someone that he wasn't. Said that he put in the bankruptcy that he was a medical doctor on the forms. They didn't catch that.
Right.
So think about it.
Look at you as a detective and they're not even.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I'm giving you the information.
I'm telling you. Think about it. Someone who has been doing this for over 20 years, like you're in your field, you've been doing it for how many years?
20.
Wow, 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
You look so good. You've been doing it for 20 years. So you're what we could say a subject matter expert, right? So think about somebody who's been conning women. Every con gets better and easier.
Yeah.
They learn from their mistakes and they do it better the next time.
Let me tell you, this is with Jennifer, the guy that she dated was conning people for like over 20 years also. I told you he conned his own family members, so many different women. And you know what's wild is that he even was with another woman while this is all happening and while she had a show on TV about it. Wow. And they reached out to the woman and let her know. And he managed to convince her, even to this day, that she was lying.
Yeah. Oh, and not to mention on one of the sermons, like his sermon that he has right now is Pastor Dr. Dorian Wilkerson. He's saying that he's married again. He said that, I honor my wife, my prayer partner, who let me put a prayer room in the house. This is
wild.
What this person is saying.
How many people are in this congregation?
It's about 12. It's about 15. Okay, it's small.
I was like, I know you ain't got no mega church or nothing because that would be wild.
No mega church because now.
Is there a way for you to recuperate any of this? Or is that just over and done with? Like, I know that you're moving on with your life and you want to close that financial part of it and rebuild. But is there any way for you to recuperate any of this?
I feel like the legal system literally let me down. The justice system let me down.
Yeah. Because
I tried to tell them. And I get so scared because these type of people, they will kill you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You go to law enforcement, and we had an issue. You probably saw it down in Broward County where that happened. This lady was trying to file a restraining order against this man, and then he ended up killing her. So at one point, like I was really afraid for my life and telling them, like, listen, he's dangerously clever. I don't know what he's capable of. My daughters had already said to me, like, listen, you were always getting sick. I have not been sick since I was always like,
probably was
right. That's what That's what they think. Saying allegedly. And
did he ever threaten you, like physically?
He said he had a ram in the bush. That's what he said to me before. He was like, "Oh, I have a ram in the bush." So I took that as a threat, and I went to the police department, Miramar Police Department. That's the city that we lived in, and I'm gonna put him out there. I went to them and I said, "Listen, this is the things that he's saying." Now, when he said he had a ram in the bush, now hindsight, I kind of think it was when he went and filed the false police report. Angela, on his false police report, he even has plastic surgeon on there. Like, are you guys not looking? You guys wrote this,
right?
It says plastic surgeon. So, is there a way for me to recoup? Only through, the legal system.
Yeah.
I would say, they did me wrong. I was wrongfully arrested. I had to go turn myself in. My daughters were devastated.
I bet.
They were devastated. And then, social media is social media. Oh, Shareza arrested for fraud and like
making you look
they
like
were going
you did
crazy.
Something. Now, how does this affect how you feel about dating moving forward too? Because I can't even imagine the type of PTSD that you have from a case like this.
From the beginning, I actually wrote an article in Black Love. I always said that I'm still not afraid to love again. I'm not afraid to love again because I'm loved. I deserve love. I deserve to be loved. So it really has not hindered me. It really hasn't, because I said this person was a character. He wasn't even real.
Right.
And that's how I had to kind of, fix my mind to understand that this is a character. He wasn't real. All this was fake. Now, my dad, who's an Army vet who worked for the Inspector General's office, like he's now, it's like when you meet somebody, I need to know, like, because, you know, I didn't tell him everything. And me and my dad are very tight. Yeah. So he said, my dad is...
You're like, I don't want my dad to go kill
very
nobody.
Wise. Very wise.
Right.
So I didn't tell him a lot of things. And he feels like, you know, had you said it to me, I would have thought, no, that's not right. Had you told me you were about to go sell your house and do this, I would have been like, no.
So you didn't really tell anybody you were doing all those things.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. And you know, it's crazy because it's probably because I knew something wasn't right about it, right?
Because you knew what people were going to say.
Yeah.
You knew everybody was going to talk you out of it. And he probably didn't want you to tell anybody also.
And then he kept me from...
Yeah, they always say that's one of the signs. Anybody that tries to isolate you from your family and close friends, that's always like a warning sign that somebody is trying to manipulate and do things to you.
But loving again, no, because I'm there. I'm there, like right now. Like have met the best person for me.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
When I tell you, you see, I'm blushing already. Like child got your girl cooking and cleaning and being very domestic, you know. And I'm like, listen, soft girl is what you claim it to be, right? Because people are like, oh, soft girl, what y'all talking about? Soft girl era. And I had to realize that I'm still a boss. You know what I mean? I'm still a boss. I'm still gonna take care of business.
You came in here looking fly already, and I think taking your power back, and that's part of why, like, when I worked on this other docuseries that I did, it was also about like taking the power back, because some of the people who were victims of his were able to speak and get their story out, and some of them dated back like so long ago, and they never thought that they would have a chance to tell their story. You know, there were people who literally like had to rebuild from the ground up. Also got their credit room. There were men that he was sleeping with that he swindled. I mean,
allegedly. So was this person.
And I feel like people like that are so like, they don't care where it's coming from. If I gotta, you know, whatever.
No, it's true.
To get a check, I will. There's some people that are ruthless like that. They don't care who they're swindling. They will figure it out, become whoever it is that they need to become. Now he's a pastor. You know what I'm saying? And now he's swindling church members and
putting your hand, like you're laying hands on people. Like that's
Has he said anything or reached out once he found out that this, you know, because this is out right now on Netflix for people to be able to watch, Love, Con, Revenge. Has he reached out or said anything or?
Not that I'm aware of. I know they gave him a right to reply.
Yeah, he has to have a right to do that, right?
He declined.
Of course he did.
So that's all I know. Now that it's out, it's out.
Well, we got to tell everybody, make sure you watch this in its entirety. Make sure you spread the word. Make sure, and I know right now you also want to be able to help other women who are going through these, you know, getting fraudulently taken advantage of in the name of romance.
So I started a foundation called RAW, Respect All Women. And it's not just about romance fraud, but it's about the injustice. You know, women who are told they're too loud, too emotional. You know, Black women that they're trying to silence. They're trying to silence us from telling our stories. And RAW is really a resource center where I am dedicating, you know, my life to be an advocate for women. You know, and making sure that we're respected and we receive the justice that we deserve, whether it's through helping them find a bankruptcy attorney. So I'm partnering with different attorneys, family law, criminal law, therapists, partnering with different resources to say, okay, they may not have this right now. So what can we do to help?
Right.
You know, and that's basically what it is, because I always say in each one of us, there's all of us. And my story may not be your story, but you have a story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, we're so afraid to share our story because we as women, not just women of color, but we as women tend to judge one another more so than pour into one another. And it's communities out there that love on each other. It's real communities out there. And I always say, I was so hurt by my own women who basically kind of tore me down during this process. And, you know, basically, you know, had their judgmental ways and different things. But then I said, you know what? My grandma always said, if you do good, folk gonna talk about you. If you do bad, folks still gonna talk about you. So just do good. And all I try to do is the right thing for the right reasons around people. And I can say that through all this, Angela, one thing I never lost was my peace.
That's great.
I never lost my peace.
That's true survivor. Like, because honestly, I can't even fathom what it must be like to, and like I said, I've witnessed a lot of different things happening. I mean, I was in the courtroom with my friend trying to, and what you went through, I mean, actually like married this man and thought, because it's also the loss of what you thought was going to be your life partner, and finding out somebody wasn't who you thought he was. But it is also true that what they say, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. Yeah. And so maybe this is the path for you to be on too, because there's a lot of people who don't have a voice, who aren't going to have a Netflix series, who aren't going to have a Daily Mail highlighting their story, that will never have an opportunity for their voice to be heard, that can actually now feel like maybe something can happen. Maybe there's a way that I have to keep on pursuing this. Because so many people will be like, well, forget it. Like, there's nothing I could do about it, and just suffer.
And his past victims, that's what they did. They ran out of resources. They lost their voices, or they were worried about their career. What was
surprising to you that you heard from one of the past victims?
What was surprising?
Yeah, like what was something that you were like, dang?
Well, one was a guy.
Right.
So that was like...
You're like, I didn't know he... Okay.
Ew, really? Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's not... Okay, nothing on the gay community, let me just say that. But the fact that you're being deceitful, that's the problem. Right. The deception. And I was like, wow. So
he's like a chameleon. Yeah. He'll be whatever
he'll be whoever he needs
top,
to be.
Bottom,
top, bottom,
whatever it is.
Side, everything. Like whatever. He's going to be who he is. And I think that kind of surprised me. But then it's always, you think back, because I never forget one time I read a text message that he sent a friend, and it said, I need to see you. Who sends another man that? Like, that's normally something that you send
to a woman,
or somebody
romantic, and you didn't think he was gay because he was with you,
right? So I was just like, that was weird, but that always stuck in the back of my mind. That always stuck in the back of my mind. But my story is my story. Yeah. And
it's gonna be we're gonna all get to watch your full entire story. If you haven't seen it yet on Love, Con, Revenge. Did you meet all the other women too?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. One of them, Jill, we actually exchange information like on social media, and we kind of talk, but I'm excited to meet the rest of the women. And there's also one man on there. Like, it's not, romance fraud is not, it's not predicated to one gender. It's just more so happens to us, or we're talking about it. And they look at it, men are embarrassed.
Yeah, and they get treated, the reason they treat it differently is because they think that you just made a silly mistake in the name of love. Like, you gave him access to this. You gave him the money. You invested the money. Right. He didn't steal it from you, but he was signing over lines of credit in your name and all kinds of things that you had nothing to do with. Right. So that's the fraudulent part. Right. Yes, you may have emptied out, sold your house, and invested money into this company that didn't work, and found out later that he wasn't a doctor, but he was doing way more than just that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes they look at it like, well, you voluntarily gave this man.
But there's laws to this stuff. When I tell you that I probably need to go ahead and just go to law school after this, because I had to write my own motions, because I ended up letting my attorney go, wrote my own motion, won my motion.
Wow.
By the way.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
Won my motion and everything. So I've learned so much. And legally, because another thing, he said he was only married twice. I mean, he said he was married once. I was his second wife. I was his fifth wife. Yeah. And now he's saying he's married again. So it's crazy. But all that has happened to me is called theft by deception. It's literally organized crime, because it's so many women. It's literally RICO. Right. Right. This happens to women, and there's no accountability.
Yeah, you're right.
So this is a crime.
Like, we saw a Tinder swindler. We were talking about this before the interview, how he became like a hero to some people. Yeah. Like, wow, how did he manage to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And this is what people will say about my story as well, because people are ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I really mean just not knowing. Yeah. Hurt people. There has to be this is a mental illness. It's a mental issue. Like, for someone to just really, I don't know, morally, I could not just hurt somebody intentionally. Yeah. I can't.
And a whole family, because it's not just you.
Right.
Do you want to see him in jail?
I do.
Okay.
I want justice served. I want to be able to, I want my money back. You know what I mean? I want to get something back. I would say, you know, through the legal system, I want something back. Him, I'm probably never going to get anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because he cons people. He puts things in other people's names so he can walk away from it. And that's another thing that he did. Put some things in my name and you were able to walk away from it. And then I'm getting the scrutiny.
Now you're stuck with it. Yeah. Have you been able to rebuild financially? Like, how are you?
I'm trying. Because with the criminal case that was against me, I mean, going back to Fortune 500 companies and putting that in. So guess what? You know what happens?
Right.
They pull your background. I was so close to getting several positions. They pull your background. And because I'm a 6-7 figure earner, you know, when I'm in corporate America, I have those skills, but they're not going to hire you because you have a background now. So I have to go and get all that taken care of. I'm in the process of getting it taken care of because they just dropped the charges in June and actually officially dropped it July 18th.
That was
so
not
it
that
took
long
a month.
ago.
Right. It took a month once they announced it was dropping. But yeah, it's been hard, but I'm trying. I'm rebuilding. This Love Con Revenge, you know, I look at it as a stepping stone. I'm a writer. I have a stage play that I wrote.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
So, you know, we could probably get together. This needs to be a movie.
Yeah.
My story needs to be a movie. Hint,
there
hint.
you go.
Y'all, I just put it out there to Angela.
We're
about to make a movie.
I feel like you can get it done too. Okay, we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you, I cannot wait for everybody to see this, and we're going to watch this as a family. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on right now on Netflix. Yes. And I'm going to discuss this on Monday for everybody so they have a chance to see it too.
Awesome.
Well, Shareza, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you sharing your story and sharing your story with the world because I know it's not easy, but I know it's necessary.
It's necessary.
And we appreciate you.
And I appreciate you for all the work that you're doing for women as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
It's way up.